Good evening to everybody in India and good morning to everybody here in Canada and America. Welcome to everyone. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, please type yes in your screen chat box. Can you all hear me? Thank you, Rupal. Thank you, Lina. Good evening. Thank you, Lina ji. I hope everybody is doing fine. Thank you, Hiral ji. I hear that number of cases of corona are increasing in India, and my prayers and best wishes to everybody in India. I hope everybody stays safe there and you're staying at home, keeping safe distance, using mask, using sanitizer. Thank you, Rupal ji. Thank you, Leena ji. Hare Krishna Pallavi ji. Hi, good morning, David. Good morning. Very good morning to you. Hari Om Satchandra ji. Hare Krishna Bela ji. Very happy to see you all. It's a beautiful day here in Thunder Bay. We have a wonderful sunny weather today. Hare Krishna Sonal. It's a beautiful day here, and I hope everybody is having good time wherever you are, in India, in Canada. Hi, Gary. Good morning. Good morning, Gary. So I'm happy to see everybody here. We will wait for 2 more minutes and then we will begin our session. I hope everybody is reading Bhagavad Gita, and if you have any questions, please write it down and we'll discuss any of your points, any of the questions you may have during your reading. We will talk about it. So please have a pen and paper ready with you and write down all your questions, and we will talk about those questions during today's session. We are extending our teachings by 2 weeks. Today we are going to complete chapter number 13 and 14, and after that remains are the 4 chapters more. So next Saturday we will cover 2 more chapters, and then the Saturday after that. So 2 more weekends and Hare Krishna Madhufai. 2 more weekends and we should be able to reach to the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So we are extending our sessions by 2 more weeks. I hope everybody can join for 2 more weeks. Jai Shri Krishna Medha ji. Good morning, Tash. Very happy to see you all. Good evening, Suresh ji. Hare Krishna Dattatreya ji. Hari Kumar ji, pranam aapko. Dr. Manjari, good evening, Dr. Manjari. Welcome. Raksha ji, namaste. Very happy to see you. So let's begin our session. For today, Vasudha ji, welcome. Good morning. Let's begin our today's session with a small meditation. Mantra is on your screen. Wherever you are, please fold your hands, sit straight, neck in the line with the back. Pranam Archana ji, Lajju ji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Hemant, Veena ji, welcome. Please close your eyes, sit straight, neck in the line with the back, and we'll chant this mantra, which is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We all will chant 3 times. When we chant, we focus our ears, our concentration on the sound vibration, and we all will recite together Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. We welcome all the members who just joined, and we will begin our today's session for Bhagavad Gita. If you cannot hear me, please type in the chat box. If you cannot see my video, please type in the chat box, and we will try to correct the technical errors if there is any which arise during our session today. I hope the sound is clear and the video is clear and you all can see it. Perfect. Thank you, Medaji. Thank you, Dr. Anita. Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you, Anjali, Lajju. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anandji, thank you so much. So, we are studying Bhagavad Gita as it is. And we have covered until chapter number 12 of Bhagavad Gita. Chapter number 1 to 6 talks about Karma Yoga mainly. However, it also talks about Dhyana Yoga in chapter number 6. Chapter number 7 to 12, it talks about Bhakti Yoga, and we just finished Bhakti Yoga last week. And chapter number 13 to 18, which is the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, it talks about Jnana Yoga, which we are beginning from today onwards. Now, yoga means union, as we all know, or to unite with. And what is this union about? So this is about uniting our body, mind, soul with super soul. Soul is also called Atma, and to unite Atma with super soul, which is called as Paramatma, is called as yoga. And we can unite our body, mind, soul with super soul, or Man, Buddhi, Sharir and Atma with Paramatma by a variety of ways. And first way is to do Karma Yoga. What does Karma Yoga means? Karma Yoga means that it is bhakti. Bhakti means actually entire Bhagavad Gita, even though Lord Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, entire Bhagavad Gita is all about Bhakti Yoga, to unite or to serve the Supreme through variety of ways. So even though Lord Krishna is saying that do your karma in chapter number 1 to 6, he is saying that do this karma for me. Me means Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he declares himself in the chapter number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He declares himself that he is the Supreme Person. And not only Krishna, but all the great sages, all the Devi, Devtas, all the Upanishads, Vedas, Puranas, everybody declares that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we have extensively studied this topic in last 3 weeks from chapter number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all these chapters we talked about Lord Krishna is the Supreme Person, and doing bhakti for him is the ultimate aim. Lord Krishna declared in 6th chapter end that yogi nam api sarvesham matagatentar. So best of the yogis is the one who always does my bhakti. And then Lord Krishna explained about his all-pervasive nature, how we can know Krishna by indirect ways, by knowing the nature which is created by Krishna, or we can know Krishna directly by knowing him as a person, about him and his activities. So you can do bhakti in that way by worshipping Krishna, or you can do bhakti by doing your karmas and offering your karma and its result to Krishna. So that is bhakti yoga through karma. Then, so in first 6 chapters, Lord Krishna talks about bhakti, but that bhakti is done through karma. So bhakti does not necessarily mean that one has to go to ashram or go to forest and keep on doing japa or meditation. That is one part of bhakti. But bhakti can also be done by doing your karmas. Suppose you are a student, you can do bhakti by your studies. So what you do, whatever you study, whatever the work you do, you offer it to Krishna. Suppose one is a housewife looking after the family, whatever the day-to-day care of the children or the family she does, she'll dedicate it to Krishna. Suppose one is a doctor, then whatever the activities for the patient care, he dedicates that, oh Krishna, I'm doing this as a service to you. So it's all about changing your consciousness. So when we change our consciousness, then that becomes bhakti. So when we do karmas for our pleasure, our own self, that becomes karma. But when do karma for Krishna, then that becomes karma yoga. So that is what Lord Krishna talks about in chapter number 1 to 6. Then chapter number 7 to 12, Krishna talks directly about bhakti. So here Krishna says that you remember me, always worship me, pay obeisances to me, offer the food to me, and do my worship in variety of ways, So that's what we talked about in Lord Krishna's direct bhakti. So first bhakti was through karma. 7 to 12 is direct bhakti, which means directly worshipping Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and following his instructions from Bhagavad Gita. Then we talked about how we can recognize Krishna and what are the ways to do bhakti, 9 processes of bhakti, right? We talked about that also in last session. And today onwards, we are starting Jnana Yoga, which means you do bhakti, but by knowledge. So we can unite with Super Soul, with Supreme Personality of Godhead by knowledge also. And what is this knowledge about? So there are a variety of knowledges. We have a material knowledge, we have a knowledge about spirituality. So material knowledge means what we study in the schools and colleges. Maths, science, history, geography, and all those knowledges, computer science, all that is a material knowledge. and then there is a spiritual knowledge, and that is what we are going to talk about in Gnana Yoga, about material and spiritual knowledge and how the knowledge can help us to unite with Krishna. So we'll briefly go over first 12 chapters, just the titles of them. So first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called as Vishad Yoga. Vishad means lamentation. So Lord hears from Arjuna about Arjuna's problems, troubles, his lamentation. That is in first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We talked about that. Then second chapter, then Lord Krishna starts talking. So first chapter, Arjuna is speaking. Second chapter, Krishna starts speaking. And then Arjuna is asking questions in between. But second chapter onwards, most of the talks are given by Lord Krishna. So second chapter is about Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means analytical. And here Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna about soul and what are the characteristics of soul, where the soul lies in our body, what happens to the soul when the body dies, what is mind, what is intelligence. All those parts were explained by Lord Krishna in second chapter. Then third chapter, Lord Krishna talks about Karma Yoga. So here Lord Krishna tells to Arjuna, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So he says, you have right to perform your duty. So we all have right to perform our duties. However, you have no right on the fruits. Fruits may come, may not come. Sometimes fruits may be in your favor. Fruits may not be in your favor. But Lord Krishna says that you keep on doing your karmas without expecting results. But then Lord Krishna explains more than that in the chapter number 4. He says, but then if you do this karma for me, for Krishna, then that becomes a karma. So first he says, do it without results, expecting the results. Then he says, you do this karma, but as an offering to me. That is a karma. And then Lord Krishna explains in chapter number 5 about Nishkam Karma Yoga. So what is Nishkam Karma Yoga? So here Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that you do karma without expecting results as an offering to me, and if you ever get results, then offer all the results to me. So here Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that all the results you offer it to me. So while doing karmas, you do not have any desire to enjoy the fruits. Who is the ultimate enjoyer? So Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer. That is Lord Krishna is explaining about Nishkam Karma Yoga. Then Lord Krishna explains about Dhyana Yoga. So here in the 6th chapter, Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna about Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga, Lord Krishna explains about the process of Ashtanga Yoga, which is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So Lord Krishna is explaining all the 8 processes of Ashtanga Yoga and how to do it. And then at the end of the 6th chapter, after explaining all this Vishad Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Akarma, Nishkam Karma Yoga, then he talks about Dhyana Yoga. Lord Krishna says that Yogi Namapi Sarvesham Mata Gatentar. Who is the best? Shraddhavan Bhajayanto Mam Same Bhakta Yato Mata. So what is Lord Krishna is saying? So Lord Krishna is saying that among all the yogis, the best yogi is the one who worships me, who always remembers me and performs Bhakti Yoga. So then Lord Krishna explains about science of Bhakti Yoga in chapter number 7 to 12. So in chapter number 7, Lord Krishna explains about Gnana and Vijnana Yoga. So in Gnana Vijnana Yoga, Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna about all pervasive nature of him. So Lord Krishna says that he is the test of the water, he is the light of the sun, he is the light of the moon, He is the sound vibration in Om. Lord Krishna says He is the time, He is the creator, He is the maintainer, He is the destroyer, He is the beginning, middle, and end. Everything is Krishna Himself, and that is what is explained in Jnana Yoga, Vijnana Yoga. So here we can perceive Krishna by His all-pervasive nature. Right? Krishna is everywhere. So when we see water and drink water, Krishna says, I am the taste of water. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. So He says, I am the taste of the water. So when we drink water, then we remember Krishna. So Krishna says, I am the light of the sun. So when we see light or sunlight, we remember Krishna, like that. So Krishna explains that it is very easy to perceive Him by indirect means. Then Lord Krishna says, you know what, you can unite with me, you have yoga with me, even at the time of death. If you remember me at the time of death, then you will unite with me. So how do we remember Krishna at the time of death? We talked about that in detail. Then Lord Krishna explains about Raja Yoga Raja Guhyam Pavitram Midam Uttamam in chapter number 9. So here Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna in detail about Bhakti Yoga and how we can do Bhakti Yoga. So He says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. So simple things like offering a fruit, offering a flower, offering a leaf, or offering a water, or just by remembering me, you can do Bhakti Yoga. And we talked about that in quite extensive details. Then in chapter number 10, when Arjuna says to Krishna, hey Krishna, you told me about yourself and how to remember you, but I would like to know more about you. Please tell me more about you. So Lord Krishna then explains about Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti means opulence. So Lord Krishna then explains about more of His opulences. So that is in chapter number 10, Vibhuti Yoga. Then chapter number 11, when after Lord Krishna reveals all His opulences, then Arjuna says, but in case in future somebody will have a doubt that who has seen Krishna, then how do I explain it? So can you please show me your universal form, your Vishwarupa? So then Lord Krishna gives Divya Drashti, Divya Chakshu, or divine vision to Arjuna. And with the divine vision, Arjuna could see the universal form of Lord. And that time we heard about that from last session, that Arjuna could see all the Devi Devatas, all the 33 crore Devi Devatas lying within the body. You see Krishna with multiple heads, multiple mouths, numerous garlands, right? So, and Arjuna got scared actually when he saw universal form of Krishna. And then he said, Krishna, I have seen your universal form, but I see that all these fighters are also dying in your body, in your mouth. Everybody's rushing, all Kauravas, Pandavas, except all these 5 Pandava brothers. All the people on the battlefield were rushing in Krishna's mouth, and he was seeing that they were dying. So Arjuna was scared, and he says, Krishna, I do not know for what purpose you have appeared. And then Krishna says to Arjuna that only purpose is that Vinashaya cha dushkritam, Paritranaya sadhunam, Vinashaya cha dushkritam, Dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge. So Lord Krishna says, my purpose of appearing on this earth is to protect my devotees. So he says, all you 5 Pandavas, all of you are my devotees. So you will accept all 5 Pandavas. Nobody is going alive from here. Right? And I'm here to re-establish the Dharma. So now you better become my instrument. Nimitta matrena savyasachi. So Lord Krishna says, you become nimitta and you work for me and you get the glories. So we learned that as long as we follow instructions of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and we follow our life according to instructions of Bhagavad Gita, then we are nimitta matrena. All the good things will happen and the credit will be allotted to us. However, all the work is being done by Krishna through his energies. So that is 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And then in the 12th chapter, we learned about pure bhakti. So I hope everybody remembers everything. I will pause here for a few seconds, making sure everybody can hear me, see me, and if there is any questions as of now until chapter number 12. So we briefly revised 12 chapters of Bhagavad Gita in 20 minutes. So any questions you have? We have been studying Bhagavad Gita over 1.5 months now. I mean, I'm congratulating all of you for all your patience, all your enthusiasm, spending your time regularly here on every Saturday morning or Saturday evening as per the India time. And many of you have dedicated and sacrificed your time. So I'm really happy with all of you. So if you have any questions, please type it here. If not, then we'll proceed with our chapter number 13 for today's session. I'll pause for 1 minute and see if there is any question. Thank you, Charuji. Hare Krishna. I see that there are no questions as of now. Perfect. So we will proceed further and we'll go with the next part. Just briefly revise chapter number 12, which was Bhakti Yoga, which is the essence of all the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So Bhakti Yoga, which means performing devotional service to Krishna. And Lord Krishna says that importance of Bhakti Yoga. Lord Krishna says, Tesham aham sammudharta mrityu sansar sagarat. So Lord Krishna says that those who perform Bhakti Yoga, Tesham aham sammudharta. So those who are performing Bhakti Yoga, he says, those who worship me, I am the swift deliverer from Mrityu Samsara Sagarat, from the ocean of birth and death. So this material world is called a Sansara Sagara. Sagar means ocean, and it is very difficult to swim across the ocean. Even you might be best of the best swimmers, you cannot swim across the ocean. Similarly, by our own power, if you think that we can get moksha, or we can get liberation from this cycle of birth, disease, old age, and death, birth, disease, old age, death, birth, disease, old age, death. This is a cycle. We are perpetually rotating in this material world in different bodies. And Krishna says, if you worship me, if you follow Bhakti Yoga, and if you follow my instructions in Bhagavad Gita and live your life, do your karmas as per Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga, and along with this, the special knowledge I'm going to impart you in the Jnana Yoga, then your life will be successful. And I will deliver you from the ocean of birth and death. So then you don't have to take any more birth. No more sufferings. This material world is a suffering. So Lord Krishna is saying then further that how to perform pure bhakti. So he gives us various ways, and we talked about 5 different ways to do bhakti. So first Krishna says, best way to do bhakti is just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always, without doubt. So here Lord Krishna explains the first option to do bhakti is fixed mind on Krishna. So how do you fix mind on Krishna? So always thinking about Krishna, or how we can understand the message of Krishna, how we can understand Bhagavad Gita, how we can put it into practice. And after practicing, if we really understand it, then we have to think about how can we spread this message of Bhagavad Gita and help many more people on the planet. So that is fixing the mind on Krishna. Now suppose your mind is very busy thinking about something else and you have no time thinking about Krishna. Then Lord Krishna says, then if you cannot fix your mind on me, then you perform Abhyasa Yoga. Abhyasa Yoga is following the rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga process. So what are the rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga process? So get up early in the morning, then do some mantra meditation, then you do Arti ceremony, Puja ceremony, then you read Bhagavad Gita, then you cook something for Krishna, then you offer the bhoga to Krishna, then you do japa regularly reading Bhagavad Gita classes, like that. All those 9 processes of bhakti are the Abhyasa Yoga. So Lord Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. Then Lord Krishna explains about third option. Now some people will say, oh, I cannot do meditation, I cannot fix my mind on Krishna. Then what do? I cannot follow this Bhakti Yoga because I'm very busy, I have a job, I have to get up early and travel. Okay, Krishna says, okay, third option I have for you is that Mada Artham Api Karmani. So he says, whatever you do, whatever you perform the activities, you might be a carpenter, you might be a doctor, you might be a plumber, you might be a student. Just try to work for me. So what do you mean by work for me? Just remember for Krishna and do your activities for Krishna. Just by consciousness, So Krishna says, do and work for me, So that is also variety of Bhakti Yoga. Then some people say, oh, I cannot work for Krishna. So Krishna says, okay, that's fine. If you cannot work for me, then he says, Sarva Karma Phala Tyagam. So he says, what you do is that whatever you get at the end of your work, give up some charity, donation. I don't know how many of us do donation, but whatever is our ability, especially in these difficult times, the Corona times, donations are very much needed, actually. There are a lot of people who don't have anything to survive upon. They don't have food, they don't have jobs, there is no money. Can we give something to someone? Okay, some people say, I don't have a job, my business is shut down, how can I give the donation? If you cannot give, like everybody has little bit to give, If you have $1 or 100 rupees, just give 1 rupee or 1 cent or 10 cents, If everybody donates 10 cents, also big money. So whatever little donation, no, we don't need to give a very big money, no need. Whatever little we can do for somebody else, that will be fine. Now some people will say, I don't have money. So Krishna is very kind. He says, if you cannot give donation, then how do you do bhakti? So he says, Shriyohi Gnanam Abhyasaj. Just cultivate the knowledge, So if you cannot meditate upon, if you cannot work for Krishna, if you cannot do bhakti yoga, if you cannot do donations also, then there Krishna says, doesn't matter. Just try to read something, a spiritual knowledge, and cultivate the spiritual knowledge. Because ultimately, when you develop spiritual knowledge, then one day you feel like, okay, I should give up. And then you will start donating. So knowledge is the beginning. So Krishna gives us a variety of ways how to worship him. And then Lord Krishna explains about who is dear to him. So what are the qualities of a bhakti yoga active practitioner? So Lord Krishna explains, Advaishta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara samadukha sukha kshamin. So Krishna says, you might be doing bhakti, but you need some qualities to develop. And a bhakti yogi or one who is following bhakti can develop all these qualities. This is by second nature it comes into you. So what is that? Qualities Lord Krishna is looking for? He says Advaishta, non-enviousness. To whom? Sarva Bhutanam, to all the living entities. Then Maitra, Maitra means friendship. Karuna, compassion. Nirmamo, no sense of proprietorship. Nirahankara, no egoism. Whether happiness, distress, he is always dependent on Krishna. He has no ahankar, no ego, because he knows everything belongs to Krishna. Krishna is the owner. We didn't bring anything in this world. When we came with empty-handed. And when we go with empty-handed. Everything belongs and remains here. You can't take. You may say, this is my house. So that's fine, 50 years or so. And after that, it's all gone, right? You might be a doctor, but then after you are dead, that doctor degree has no value. You just torn it and put it in the garbage bin. It's of no use, right? So one who is remembering Krishna, who is a Krishna Bhakta, he knows that nothing belongs to me, everything belongs to Krishna. Then Santushta Satatam Yogi. So Bhakti Yogi is very happy and very satisfied. Why? Because he is always praying and always remembering Krishna. Oh Krishna, you are giving me so much. Water, air, shelter, everything is here. You have given us. Santushta Satatam Yogi, Yatatma Dhrada Nishchaya. He is very determined. He is not shaky, like today he will do bhakti and tomorrow he will not do bhakti. It's not like that. He's always Yatatma Dhrada Nishchaya. Dhrada Nishchaya means 100% determined. And Maya Arpita Mano Buddhir, Yamad Bhakta Same Priya. So Lord Krishna says, one who is dedicating his mind and intelligence. Maya Arpita. Mana Buddhir. Man means mind and Buddhi means intelligence. He donates everything to me. Yasman na udvijata loka, loka na udvichet cha. So Lord Krishna further says in 12th chapter that my devotee, one who is performing bhakti yoga, he never disturbs anybody and nobody can disturb him. He's always stable and he doesn't make anybody disturb. He's just performing his karma or activities. And then lastly says in 12th chapter 20th shloka, those who follow this imperishable path of bhakti, devotional service, making me to be the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. So here Lord Krishna says, those who follow the bhakti yoga, they are the very, very dear to me. And then one who is dear to Krishna, Krishna looks after him. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. So Lord Krishna has already told us that if you remember me, if you worship me, if you do my bhakti, then I will carry what you have and supply what you do not have. So Krishna will look after you 100%. So that's the end of the 12th chapter, and now we are beginning the 13th chapter for today. Now 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is a little bit difficult because it is more of analytical type of knowledge, but I am going to try to make it as simple as possible. And all the questions are welcome because this is a very little bit tricky question. The shlokas are difficult to understand. However, it is very important chapter because once we go through this chapter, our attitude, our approach to look at the world becomes different. So here in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is explaining about nature. Nature means Prakriti. Then enjoyer. Who is the enjoyer? Are we the enjoyer or is Lord Krishna the enjoyer? And then consciousness, Chetana. So Lord Krishna is explaining about the three very important aspects of our life: Prakriti, Purusha, and Chetana. Right? So that is what Krishna is going to explain here. So let's see 13th chapter, first shloka, where Arjuna is saying, Arjuna vacha prakrutim purusham cha eva kshetram kshetragna eva cha. So here Arjuna is asking question to Krishna and is saying, oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the filled and the knower of the filled, and of knowledge and the object of knowledge. So here there are quite a few questions Arjuna is asking to Krishna. He's saying, oh Krishna, please tell me, Krishna, please tell me, how do I know about nature, Prakriti? Hare Krishna Sureka, Dr. Sureka Chauhan, I get your message. No worries at all. You can join us as soon as your connection becomes okay. Thank you for typing the message. Thank you. So Lord Krishna is saying that Arjuna is asking the question to Krishna that please tell me about nature and who is the master of this nature? Who owns this nature? There's so much nature around us. And then there is a field and the knower of the field and the knowledge and the object of the knowledge. So here basically Arjuna is asking a question about how the nature works, who owns this all the nature, and what are the activities and who carries out the activities in the nature. There are so many things happening around us, in the Prakriti, in the nature. So Arjuna wants to know more about it scientifically. So Lord Krishna further says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram iti abhidhiyate. So Krishna says, this body, O Arjuna, O son of Kunti, this body is called as field. And one who knows this body is called as the field of knower of the field. So now here, Lord Krishna is trying to explain us about our body. So our nature, our existence. So there are two bodies. One is our own body, and then there is a body of this whole universe, Vishwa. So this Prithvi also has a body. There is a shape. There are elements of the earth, like our body, as our human body has like eyes, nose, ears, mouth, everything, right? Similarly, the earth has also different components. Earth is also a body. So Lord Krishna says that imagine that this body is just like a field. Field means kshetra, right? So now what happens when, suppose this is a farm. Farm is a field. There's a big field. And what do you do in this field? So you grow grains into it. So this body is just like field. And what do you do in the field? You put some seeds. And what happens in this field, seeds, then you perform some activities and then the seeds grow into the form of a plant. So Lord Krishna says that this body is the field and your desires and karmas are the seeds. And when you do actions or karmas, then there are results. What are the results? The results are happiness or distress. Those are the crops, right? So this body is just like a field, kshetra. And this body is as is of the field of activities, kshetra. And who owns this field? That is kshetragna. Kshetragna means one who knows about or ownership of the field. Like say a farmer owns a field, then farmer knows everything about the field. He knows what area of the field is good, what area of the field is not good, what area of the field has water, what area of the field has no water. He knows everything about the field. But then in our body, who knows the field? So Lord Krishna says is the Atma who knows everything about your field. So Atma is the knower or kshetragna of the field. Which is just like a field where you perform all the desires, actions, karmas, and then it results into some outcome. So Atma is the knower of this field. Now, what is the difference between the body and which is the field, and the knower of the field, which is soul? So we talked about this last few sessions, but let's type it in your chat box. Difference between the body and the soul. What is the difference between body and the soul? Type one sentence each. What do you know about body? What do you know about the soul? And what is the difference between the body and the soul? Sharira, Kshetra, and Kshetragna, which is Atma or soul. Body is temporary, body perishes, the soul lives forever, soul never dies, soul is eternal, immortal, body is perishable, soul never dies, the body changes. I'm just reading, soul does not die, body is constantly changing, soul is eternal, and very good responses from so many of you. Soul is permanent, body dies, the soul is immortal. Shyama knows about the body. Body is filled and Atma is the no. Soul is eternal. The body is the house of the soul. The soul changes the house each time. Nikhil is saying body dies, soul never dies. Body can be seen while soul cannot be seen. Body is temporary, soul is permanent. Soul is immortal. Soul goes from one body to another body. Body is the filled for the soul. Cannot be killed. Body is the filled and the soul is the knower. Amazing, amazing answers. Soul is the owner of the body. So many people typing it. Body is immortal. Soul is immortal. Soul, period of stay in the body is temporary resting place. Amazing. I'm really thankful for all of you for participating in this. Absolutely, everybody of you is right. That body constantly changes. Body continuously changes, like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. The body changes, right? Our body is small, then big, big. Then ultimately it becomes old and then disappears. So body is constantly changing, but the soul never changes. Soul always remains the same. The size of the soul is always constant. The qualities of the soul are always constant. Qualities of body might change. Today your body is healthy, tomorrow it might deteriorate. But the soul quality always remains same. Right? So that is the difference between the body, which is Kshetra, and Kshetragna, which is the knower of the soul. So knower of the soul is eternal and unchanging nature, while body is the changing in nature. Now, why we get different fields or different bodies, So like sometimes we get a human body and sometimes we might get an animal body, or the bird's body or insect's body. So why does one get this filled, the body? Why do we need the body? First of all, let's see if you can type it. Why does one get this body or filled? What is the need for soul to get the body? Body is just the outer part of the soul. Soul is Atma. Okay. We get present body based upon Purva Janma Karma. Okay. Absolutely. So present body is because of Purva Janma Karma. Absolutely. The body is instrument for soul to work because of our karmas, to experience the life, body to enjoy the material world, to get what we have done. Soul needs body to perform karma. Okay, to perform karma, to unite with God. We need to fulfill the cycle. We get the body because of attachments. The body is the vehicle of the soul to ultimately travel to Krishna, for expression and go back to Krishna, to perform good action and unite with God. Teachings to experience. Okay, I get so many answers. Let me tell you what is there in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and then you all are correct actually. But my question was that soul, in the first place, soul, why was the need for soul to get any form of body in the first place in the beginning? So according to Shastras, according to Vedas, and according to Bhagavad Gita, the soul, the Atma, was Atma does not belong to material world. Only which belongs to material world is the material. Atma is not material. Atma is spiritual. So Atma belongs to spiritual world. So all these innumerable souls on this planet, they existed in the spiritual world, Adhyatmik Jagata. Because the matter and spirit are mismatch. Actually, material and spiritual doesn't go hand in hand together. That is why we always have to change the bodies, because the soul always wants to be happy, and soul cannot be always happy in this body, because the body has a tendency to deteriorate. So then it has to change the body. However, before even got this body, before we as a soul got this body, we were in the spiritual world without the material bodies. We were in the Vaikuntha Loka, or spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, there is a spiritual body, no material body. And what happens in the spiritual world is that everybody in the spiritual world, all the spiritual entities, they are constantly serving the master there. So spiritual master, or guru, or teacher, or even the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, when we go to Golok Vrindavan Dham. So all the souls belonged originally to spiritual world, where they were constantly serving Krishna. However, sometimes the souls, they thought that why should we serve Krishna? We also want to be served by somebody else. We also want to be the master instead of being servant. So we were all serving Krishna in the spiritual world. But then we thought, oh, why should we always serve Krishna? We want to enjoy like Krishna is enjoying. So then Krishna said, okay, if you want to enjoy, then you cannot enjoy like me, because I am the only master in this world, right? For example, if you work in a factory and or any company, and your boss is the only boss, you cannot become boss. You cannot become the owner of the company. If you want to be owner of the company, you need to have another company, because now you are the employee of this company. But if you want to be the master of the company, then you have to start your own company. Similarly, Krishna said that in spiritual world, I am the only Purusha, or enjoyer, or the owner of the spiritual world. However, if you want to be the owner, then I will give you the material world. And that is how Krishna created this material world, and he gave us the material bodies because we want to be the master. Actually, if you see, nobody wants to be a servant in this world, If you call somebody servant, people feel offended, because nobody likes to serve. People always want to be the master. And that is the basic tendency which is keeping us tied up with this body. As long as we have a tendency to become a master and not the servant, then we are tied up with this body. So Krishna said, if you want to be the master, then you cannot become master in the spiritual world. Then you go to the material world. But then when the soul comes in this material world, then he realizes, oh my God, I have to travel through all these different types of bodies again and again. And even though I am master of this body for one lifetime, the next lifetime I have to get another body. And every body is associated with the problems. And we keep on transmigrating from one body to another because of our desire to become master, or desire to enjoy, or desire to rule it over. We try to rule over the material nature. Everybody is digging earth, killing the trees, creating the pollution, because we all want to enjoy. We don't want to serve the mother nature. We all want to enjoy to the fullest extent. And so long as we have tendency to enjoy and not to serve others, we can never become happy. So why one gets the body? Because the tendency to enjoy, always wants to be enjoy. And that is why soul gets trapped in this material existence. because of his attempts to become the enjoyer rather than serving. So if we all, instead of thinking about ourselves, if we all start thinking about each other, so instead of I thinking about myself, if I thinking about others, then others will also think about others, and everybody will think and help about others, and that is the service nature. So more we are servants, the more world is happy. So as long as we have desire to enjoy and not make Krishna the enjoyer, we will be trapped in this body forever. And that is what Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. So Lord Krishna further says, Kshetragnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetragnayor jnanam yatataj jnanam matam mama. So he says, O son of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all the bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called as knowledge. That is my opinion. So Lord Krishna is saying that this field, you are the owner of this field. So of course, soul is the kshetragna. Soul is knowing this body. But Lord Krishna says, I am also the kshetragna. So he says, I also know about your body. So Krishna is also there in our body in the form of Paramatma. So there is Atma and there is Paramatma. So there are two entities within our body. There is a soul and there is super soul. Both of them exist in our body at the same time. So Krishna extends in our body in the form of small particle, which is called as Paramatma. So there is Atma and there is Paramatma. And then Paramatma is there within my body, within your body, within the body of everybody around us. So all the living entities, whether it is a plant, whether it is an insect, whether it is a bird, or whether we human beings or any other animals, any living entity on this planet has kshetra and kshetragna. Kshetra means the body. All the living entities have body. And there are knowers of this body or the owners of this body, two people. One is Atma and one is Paramatma. So there are two people who knows about this field. So Lord Krishna says that Atma and Paramatma are the two owners of this, two knowers of this body. So there is Paramatma within everybody of us. This is guaranteed because Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita that Kshetragnam api, I am the Kshetragna, I am the knower of this body. So Krishna is extending in each and every particle of this universe in the form of Atma and Paramatma. Actually, if you see, science also has helped us to prove this. If you see the biochemistry, in the biochemistry, there is a nucleus, right? In the nucleus, around the nucleus is an electron which is constantly moving. It's called E minus. So electron is constantly orbiting around the nucleus. And when this electron is rotating, it is emitting some sort of energy, which is called as nuclear energy. And then scientists are making bombs, nuclear bombs, and nuclear energy is also environmental form of energy. So a lot of energies is being generated from the nucleus. But people don't know where is that nucleus is getting energy from. And that energy is called as God particle actually. And the scientists who discovered that got a Nobel Prize about the God particle. They labeled it as a God particle. And that particle is nothing but Paramatma, which is explained here in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna, that I extend in each and every particle of this universe in the form of a Paramatma. Now, there are two. One is soul, which is Atma, and there is Paramatma. So we have this two. Atma, which is also knower of the body, and Paramatma is also the knower of the body. So what is the difference between Atma and Paramatma? So the difference between the Atma and Paramatma is that soul, which is Atma, it knows only about one body. I know only about myself. I don't know about what's happening in your body. While Super Soul, Paramatma, knows about everybody's body, inside and out. He knows about everyone. He knows about you. He knows about me. He knows about everybody on the planet. Just like a farmer, he knows about his own land, but the king, there's a typing error there, king knows about the entire kingdom, right? So king will know about each and every place of the kingdom, while the farmer will know only about his own field. Atma has a limited control, while the Paramatma, also called as Rishikesh, has unlimited control. A farmer can control his own field, while the king controls the entire kingdom. A government controls the entire country. So we can control very little, while the Rishikesh is a wider controller. Atma is a subordinate to Paramatma. So Paramatma is the higher controller and Atma is the lower controller. And Atma is the fallible, which means that Atma can go from human body to animal body. It can go up and down. However, Paramatma is never infallible. Paramatma is by himself at the higher position. There is no karma which is attached to Paramatma. So this is the difference between Atma and Paramatma. Then Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna in 13th chapter, he says, Tasmat samsena me shruno. Then he says, now please hear my brief description about this field of activity and how it is constituted. What its changes are, when it is produced, who that knower of the field of the activities is, and what his influences are. So Lord Krishna is now going to explain you and explain Arjuna about 5 points about this body. Kshetra. Kshetra is this body, and Lord Krishna is going to explain us about more about ourselves. This is Gnana. Gnana means knowledge. And he's going to tell about how this body is constituted. What is the structure of this body on a spiritual basis. As a doctor, I know this body is composed of like muscle and bones and blood, and there are so many nerves inside it, so many connections within the body. As a doctor, I know, but Lord Krishna is explaining us about body in a spiritual way in chapter number 13.6 and 13.7. Then he will explain about what are the changes in our body. Then he will explain about when and where the body is produced, identity of the knower of the field of activities, and the influence of the knower. So he's going to tell us very detailed knowledge about this 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So Lord Krishna is saying now that Rishibir Bahudha Gitam. So he says the knowledge about all this which I'm going to give you is described in various Vedic writings, and various Vedanta sutras, and all the sages have appreciated this knowledge. So Krishna is now giving a reference to Arjuna that whatever the knowledge I am going to tell you about this Kshetra and Kshetragna is a knowledge which is described in all the Vedic literatures, and especially Vedanta Sutra. And here, even though everything comes from Krishna, Krishna is giving reference of Vedic literature. And in scientific discoveries also, whenever we write a paper, we write an article or research paper, it is very important to give reference. Without reference, your literature or your writings are not accepted by publishers. So here Krishna is also using a reference. He says, what I am saying is also referred in Vedas, Vedanta Sutras. So Krishna is saying that, first of all, I have explained you about gross body, subtle body in chapter number 2. Then I have explained you about Kshetragna, individual and supreme. And then Krishna said about body as a chariot. We learned about that. And Krishna says further about this body that the 5 great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, 10 senses, mind, 5 sense objects, desire, hatredness, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms and conviction, all these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. This is in 13.6 and 13.7. So this is a very difficult shloka, and I'm going to simplify it for all of us and try to explain you. Can you all see this picture on your screen? A picture with a field having different parts to it. Can you all see the picture? This picture is very important for all of us to understand what Lord Krishna is trying to explain. I'm trying to simplify as much as possible so that this difficult chapter, 13th chapter, is a little difficult, and I'm trying to simplify it for all of us. So let's hope that it helps all of us. So our body is composed of 24 things as per the instructions of Bhagavad Gita and as per the Vedanta Sutra, which is Lord Krishna is explaining that there are 24 things in our body. And these are 24 things in everybody's body. My body, your body, animal's body, insect's body, everybody's body has this. So what are these 24 things? So first is Pancha Mahabhuta. So our body is composed of 5 great elements which are obtained from nature, which is earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So when our body is destroyed, when our body dies, all these elements, whether you burn the body or you bury the body or feed the body to the animals, all these body elements, they go back to the nature. So this is our one part of this. So among all these different parts of the field, this is one part of the field, which is 5 elements. So our soul is within this body, but this body has various compositions. And first part of it is 5 elements, Pancha Mahabhuta. Then there are 3 subtle elements. Subtle means which we cannot see it. So we all have intelligence, we have false ego, and there are 3 modes of nature about which we are going to learn in 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita today, which is Sattva Guna, Raja Guna, and Tamo Guna. So we all have intelligence, we all have ego, but we cannot see our intelligence, we cannot see the ego. And similarly, the 3 modes of nature, Sattva Guna, Raja Guna, and Tamo Guna, are mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, which is there in 14th chapter. We're going to talk in detail. We cannot see it. Then Lord Krishna explains about 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Then we have these senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. And then we have 5 working senses: voice, legs, hands, anus, and genitals. And then we have 11th sense as mind. So 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses. This is 5 plus 5, 10. And the 11th sense is the mind. So we had 5 elements, 3 subtle elements. So 8 plus 11, 19. And then Lord Krishna says, now you have 5 objects of senses: smell, taste, form, touch, and sound. So all this constitutes 24 elements in our body. And our body is composed of all these elements. Everybody. So everybody has an object of senses like a smell, taste, form, touch, sounds, etc. And these are all within our body. So these are total 24 elements. Then Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna about knowledge. That what is knowledge? So why should we learn Bhagavad Gita, or why should we have all this spiritual knowledge? So Lord Krishna says that once we develop the knowledge, any knowledge, then that knowledge should give you 24 items, or any one of those 24 items. That is explained in chapter number 13.8 to 13.12. If the knowledge does not give you any one of this, then that knowledge is useless. We should not acquire that knowledge. So first item Lord Krishna says is that the knowledge, when we acquire it, should give us ability. So Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna that one should, by acquiring the knowledge, we should not become anxious to be honored by others. Humility means to be always desiring that, okay, we should always be honored or appreciated by others. I should be given very much importance. But then when we are humble, then we say, okay, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do my work, and whether people appreciate it or doesn't appreciate it doesn't matter to me. Now, what is that knowledge which can give you this humility? Is there any knowledge which we have learned in our lifetime which can give us this humility of not being honored? Like if I learn medicine, say I become a doctor, I have always a desire that, okay, I should be honored and appreciated by others. So that knowledge doesn't give me humility unless I have a spiritual component attached to it. That, oh, I am able to do this because of the blessing of Creator, blessing of Krishna, blessing of all the people around us. I did not acquire everything by myself. My family sacrificed a lot for me. My parents sacrificed a lot for me. Everybody helped me. That is why I'm at this stage. So material knowledge doesn't give you humility. Material knowledge gives you egoism. But when the spiritual knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is incorporated with the material knowledge, then it brings a humility. And that is the real knowledge. So real knowledge brings humility. Then Lord Krishna explains that second form of knowledge, which is quality which one should acquire by acquiring the knowledge, is the pridelessness. Let's see. I just want to be some interactive, maybe 1 minute. What do we understand by pride? Let's see if you can type something. We talked about humility. Humility is not to have a desire to be honored by others. What do we understand by pride? Pride or proud. It comes from ego. It comes from ahankar, greatness, ego. Okay. Kind of ego, pride. Pride is ego. Okay. Pride is like, say, somebody says, I'm proud of myself, or I'm proud of my son, I'm proud of my daughter, I'm proud of country I belong to, I'm proud of being national, or something like that, So what do you mean by so according to Bhagavad Gita, when we are proud of something, actually, when I say I'm proud of my son, for example, I say I'm very much proud of my son. He's so nice and he's acquired so many marks and he's such a wonderful person. Actually, one way or other, we are trying to advertise ourselves, and any knowledge which gives you pridelessness, not to be anxious to be famous or advertise oneself, that is very important. Because when we advertise ourselves, we put ourselves ahead of ourselves, and when you have too much that pride becomes the cause of your distress, actually. So if we really want to be equilibrium in the life, then Krishna says that acquire the knowledge by which you become humble, and you do not have any anxiety to become famous, or you do not want to advertise. I mean, if it becomes a part of your activities and people know you, that's fine, but not to do so that you want to be famous of it. You don't want to be advertise yourself. So that is the pridelessness. More we try to advertise oneself, it becomes a cause of a problem, actually. Because then a lot of expectations, and you cannot satisfy all the expectations. Then Lord Krishna explains that acquire the knowledge by which you become non-violent. You do not put anybody in trouble or in distress. Acquire the knowledge by which you become tolerant. Whether you become somebody honors you or somebody dishonors you doesn't matter to me, as long as I am doing my work properly. uh, Whether I get knowledge, I get advertisement, or doesn't matter to me, right? So what is that knowledge which gives you humility? What is that knowledge which will give you pridelessness? What is that knowledge which will give you non-violence? What is that knowledge which will give you, whether you are insulted or honored, doesn't matter. I will keep on doing my work. Some people will be jealous of you and they will dishonor you. They will say bad words to you. They will criticize you. They will put you down. They'll do everything possible to bring you down. But what is that knowledge? What is that philosophy? What is that method of practice which will bring you all these qualities by which you do not get disturbed? And what is that knowledge which will bring simplicity? You become straightforward, without politics, without diplomacy. Tell what is right, tell what is wrong, and just be kind hearted to everybody. Let's see what sort of knowledge can bring us to this platform. This is a very difficult platform, and uh, none of the material knowledge, at least I know, can bring us to this platform of humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, other than the knowledge of bhakti yoga. You practice any other yogas, it will not give you this sort of stability in your life. If you practice, say, Ashtanga yoga, you always have some sort of pride. Oh, I'm able to do this asana, I'm able to do this, that, I should be honored, I should be respected. It does not give you that sort of tolerance to bear the insult or dishonor from others. If somebody insults you, you starts burning from inside. It creates a blood pressure, high blood pressure, and then higher blood pressure will burn you from inside. So what is that knowledge which brings you to this platform of humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity? And that knowledge is that we all are spirit souls. We are all insignificant. This body is a temporary. This body is a vehicle for service. Krishna is the master. We all are servants. And everything in this material world is temporary. Only thing which is permanent is the spiritual knowledge. And my role in this material world is to follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, do my work 100%. Whatever the work you're doing, do it 100%. As a father, as a mother, as a son, as a child, as a husband, as a wife, as a doctor, as a teacher, as a businessman, whatever you're doing, do 100% and dedicate all results to Krishna. And whether you get success or failure does not matter, because this is my service to Krishna. This is my bhakti. This is my bhakti yoga. When we are firmly situated in bhakti yoga, then it brings humility, it brings pridelessness, it brings non-violence. Why should I kill somebody if we all are part of Krishna? Why should I insult somebody if I see Krishna within you? If I see Paramatma within you, why should I dishonor you? Why should I do politics with you if I see Krishna within you? Why should I be egoistic if I know that I'm very temporary on this world? Nothing belongs to me. Everything is temporary here. So it's the knowledge of Bhakti Yoga which can bring us all this knowledge, all this platform, which is non-wavering platform. You don't become shaky by this knowledge. At least my experience, there is no other knowledge on the planet. And then I have 20 items more to discuss, which Bhakti Yoga can bring it to you. But time is very short, and I'm just going to briefly go over them. Accepting the spiritual master, accepting somebody as a higher authority with humility, very difficult. People are jealous of each other. If you know something more than others, so then people do not want to accept you as a higher knowledge. But with Bhakti Yoga, with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, you can accept somebody as a higher than you. Definitely, because you know that, okay, this is the way to get out of it. Cleanliness, inside and out. We all clean ourselves from outside, but how about inside cleaning? Chanting or mantra meditation. Only Bhagavad Gita can give you this knowledge. Steadiness, to progress in our life with the equal speed, not too much, not too high, just determination. I will keep on doing it. That can come with the Bhagavad Gita. And then self-control, reject anything which is not favorable. Renunciation of sense objects, engage by systematic regulation, especially chanting Hare Krishna and Prasadam. So all these items, absence of false ego, perception of birth, disease, old age, death, detachment, no entanglement with the family life too much, even-mindedness, unalloyed devotional service, aspiring to live in the solitary place, detachment from general mass, and accepting the importance of self-realization and searching for the absolute truth. All these knowledges can be acquired only through Bhagavad Gita knowledge. Dr. Anita is saying that go slow. If I go slow with those, I just wanted to go over the brief points which are very important. But I just wanted to introduce you to these points because we have now 1 hour left, 45 minutes left. And we will not be able to finish 14th chapter. If you want me to go slow, then we can do 14th chapter next week probably. Is that okay for everybody? Then we can talk about each point separately. Let's see. As far as I'll go slow and I will reach as much as we can. Okay, we'll see how it goes then. Okay, so we will go over the points one by one, slowly and steadily, so that everybody can understand. So we talked about importance of the spiritual knowledge, humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, and this come into us if we regularly. Okay, everybody. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody's comments, and I was trying to reach to target level for today because the time is the essence for everybody, and we don't want to lose the audience who is interested in learning more about it if I keep on dragging this Bhagavad Gita session forever. But yes, everybody wants to understand in depth, so I'm really happy. So let's go slowly now. I'm going to slow down as much as I can. So all these points Lord Krishna is talking to Arjuna, that humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, and then we talk about the next one, accepting as a spiritual master. Then cleanliness, cleaning from inside, cleaning outside. External cleaning is we take shower. Most of us take a shower 1 time a day, but it is recommended actually that we should take shower at least twice a day, morning and evening. That keeps your body clean of all the germs and bacteria. Like say, early in the morning, you clean your body so you become fresh, and then whole day we are outside. And then when we are outside, all this sweat is accumulating on our body. And it's very important that we clean our body at the end of the day also. So then we don't get many skin diseases, as well as when we take a shower in the evening, we get a fresh sleep in the evening. So cleaning our body at least twice a day is very, very important. So that is external cleaning. And then internal cleaning. So how do you clean yourself from inside? So cleaning yourself from inside is the doing japa, mantra meditation. Mantra is like man is mantra, tra is to deliver. And when we do mantra or japa every single day, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we chant the mantra every single day, it is like cleaning process, taking shower from inside. So what happens when we chant mantra? So when we chant mantra, then it reminds us, oh, this body is really temporary. Even though I'm working very hard for this body, my body is not going to last forever, right? So I should focus more on inside rather than outside. So that is cleanliness. So inside cleaning and outside cleaning. Then steadiness. And it is the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, knowledge of Bhakti Yoga, which only knowledge which can give you these qualities. I guarantee you, there is no other type of yoga on this planet. There is no other type of knowledge on this planet which can give you all this in one formula. There is no medicine which can bring you to this platform of stability in your life. Only knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, practicing every day and remembering this, will give you a wider picture to the life and will give you this steadiness and determination to progress in this life. Material knowledge does not give you steadiness. Sometimes we are up and then you are down, then you are up, then you are down, then you are up and down. That material knowledge. Material progress is like that, temporary. You cannot peak always. When you are at the peak, the only way is down. Because there are a lot of people willing to pull you down, or if nobody pulls you, you yourself bring down. However, the knowledge of Bhakti Yoga, when we understand that, my only role in this world as a human being is to serve and to love others and to make everybody, happy by serving Krishna. You cannot make everybody happy, but if you pour the water on the root of the tree, the entire tree gets the water. Similarly, if you make Krishna happy, if you have all these qualities, there is no chance that if you do not have ego, if you are steady, if you are clean, if you have a spiritual master, if you are humble, if you are kind, if you are non-violent, there's no chance that you will make somebody unhappy. Then self-control. Reject anything which is not favorable for spiritual advancement. When we are in Bhakti Yoga, when we are progressing on the path of Bhakti, and then we find something which is not suitable, we just decide, this is not helping me to serve Krishna, so why should I waste my time on that particular subject matter? So nowadays news is the biggest disturbance in our life. We have a 24/7 news around us, or social media is not favorable actually. So we read so many things, and they are disturbing nowadays. So instead of spending our time on those activities, we become self-controlled and we reject, which means avoid, the things which are not helping us. And that knowledge can only come with the Bhakti Yoga. No other yoga can give you that knowledge. Renunciation of sense objects. We have a desire to enjoy, but when we understand that, Krishna is the enjoyer, we cannot be really enjoyer ever. No matter how. Suppose you like gulab jamuns, for example, or some sweet items. How many gulab jamuns can you eat? 5, 10, 20, 50. And then 51st gulab jamun will become a poison for you. Too much sweet, you might like it, but too much of that becomes the poison. Senses are called Vishaya. Visha means poison. Vish in Sanskrit means poison. And these senses are called a Vishaya, sense objects. So Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that what is that science, what is that knowledge which will give you this information that more you try to enjoy, more you are poisoning yourself. What is that knowledge? Actually, material knowledge gives you more enjoyment. Advertisements make you like eat this, and this is the very instant noodles and instant pastas and instant things. So eat very instantly. Everything is instant nowadays. But then that instant thing has bringing more cancer actually, because all this chemically processed food is a source of cancer. So Lord Krishna is explaining that this sense objects, Vishaya Vega, is very, very important. We have to So renunciation of sense objects, so renunciation of the poison is very important. There is no material knowledge which can give you this information other than Bhakti Yoga or science of Bhagavad Gita. Then Lord Krishna says absence of false ego. False ego, ego means identifying yourself with the body. So what is that? The false ego is that I am this body, and true ego is I am the servant of Krishna, or I am a spirit soul. I am temporary, and the body is temporary, and the soul is permanent, and I am always here to serve Krishna. So that is absence of ego, false ego. Then perception of birth, disease, old age, and death. There's only knowledge of Bhagavad Gita which can give you this perception that we are dying every second. Actually, the time when we joined this Bhagavad Gita session and time now, it's 1.5 hour. We are 1.5 hour closer to our end point, finish line, Every day we are approaching closer to the finish line. No other knowledge, all this knowledge around the world, it keeps us confused, engaged. But knowledge of Bhagavad Gita gives you perception. Oh, the end point is coming closer, expiry date is coming closer. We should work towards our goal, our destiny. Then detachment. Detachment is not easy, actually, to give up something is very, very difficult. But you can give up when you know that it does not belong to you, right? So a bank cashier can give up $1 million to you because he knows that money doesn't belong to him. But if you are the owner of $1 million and if you decide to give up, it's very difficult. It's impossible almost. So when we have this perception that I'm the owner, it's very difficult to give up something. But when we have a perception that nothing belongs to me, everything is provided to me, I'm just like a cashier of the bank, just here to deliver it, then the detachment is easy. And that is what Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is making our life sublime through Bhagavad Gita. And if we cultivate this mood, then I think there will not be any problem in our life. But then to cultivate this mood, to read Bhagavad Gita and practice it every day is very important. Then no entanglement with wife, children, etc. Whatever state you remember at the time of death, that body you will acquire in the next life. Krishna has explained that in 8th chapter. Now, if we are too much attached to the family, wife, children, then at the time of death, we'll remember that. And then again, you have to take birth. We had children in last life. I had a wife in last life also, and I have a wife in this life, and then I will have a wife in the next life. I had children in the last life, I have children in this life, and I will have in the next life. I was an animal, say example, in the last life, and I had a family there. I'm a human now, and maybe next life, I don't know what I will be. I'm approaching 50 now, and after 50 years, I will not exist. So what about my relations? It will be finished. All will be finished in a fraction of a second. We see that our grandparents have died. Our parents, some of our parents, grandparents, their parents, everybody has left this body. Nobody took away everything with them. Still, we are attached. And that perspective, that knowledge only can be acquired through Bhagavad Gita. No other knowledge will give you this. All other environment and knowledge is science of attachment, even-mindedness. Now imagine you are practicing all those principles. How can you get disturbed? It's impossible to get disturbed when you have such a broader view of life. So then with that knowledge, you either not too much happy or not too much distressed, and you are equal. I've done my job 100%. I'm doing my job 100%. Whether I get a success or a failure, why should I worry about it? Because only thing in my life is that I have to keep on doing my job. So even-mindedness only can come with Krishna, Bhagavad Gita knowledge. Unalloyed devotional service. Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti means to have complete faith. How can you have complete faith unless and until you have a complete understanding? And that complete understanding can only come through Bhagavad Gita. Nothing else can give you complete knowledge. Knowledge is always partial knowledge, the knowledge which gives about information about outside. But Bhagavad Gita gives us complete inside and out, everything. It's complete knowledge. So it engages us, completely. Then aspiring to live in a solitary place, living in the association of like-minded people. Solitary means it does not we want to go to the jungle and live, but we want to live in the place where we have this community of like-minded people. Like we are here on this virtual platform. So many of you have assembled today. And this is a place where we want to live, we want to aspire for this company. Otherwise, all other companies, they give distress, actually. Whenever we talk about people from material world, who has all of material knowledge, they bring us some sort of a distress. Because they either gossip about some family or some person, and it's not good. Then detachment from general mass of people and accepting the importance of self-realization. Give up unnecessary wastage of time, Bhagavad Gita is the only knowledge which can bring us to platform, and then search for absolute truth. Who is God? Is there a God really exist? What are the qualities of God? Where does soul go after the death? I don't think this information is available anywhere else except in Bhagavad Gita. You might search millions of Vedas and you will find all this information dispersed everywhere. Whatever we have studied as of now is there in different Vedas in different sections. But Krishna is so kind that he has put everything in one place in Bhagavad Gita. So I think we are very lucky to read and understand this Bhagavad Gita. So these are the 20 items of knowledge, and knowing any knowledge which gives you this information will give bliss and happiness in your life. All other knowledge, even though it might give you daily living and daily survival and paying the bills, they will not give you this satisfaction. So perfect combination will be having material and the spiritual combination together. So then we can make our livings and have the spirituality so that it gives us a solid foothold in the ground. So let's see if anybody has any questions before we go further now. Any questions or comments? I finished all the 20 items as of now. Try to go as slowly as possible. Was it useful? Was it... Yes, okay. Any questions you have? Oh, Medha has a question. Children. Beautifully explained. Thank you. I will talk about this, Medhaji. Just give me a few minutes. I'm going to talk to that. Thank you. Okay, very nice. Thank you, Anitaji. Okay, so wife and children, it's not that we don't care for them. We do care for them. We care for our family, and we... Sureshji has a question. We'll talk about that. When we talk about wife and children, we accept them as part of God. I don't treat we don't understand that they are my children or they are my wife or my husband, but we think them that as a part and parcel of Krishna. So when something is part and parcel of Krishna, then our attitude of looking upon that person becomes different. When I see everybody around me as a part and parcel of Krishna, then I do not have a ownership. I have a mood of servantship, servitor mood. So sometimes we expect something from our wife or children or family, but then that expectation is because we think that they are your you are the owner of them, your son, your wife, your daughter, like that. But if when we have this attitude that everything is Krishna, I am here to serve them, and I try my best to serve them, because serving to my family is just like serving to Krishna, because they are part and parcel of Krishna. So my attitude to serve family is in the mood of service to Krishna. Now, when you are served to Krishna, it's automatically detachment. There's no attachment there. Okay, nice reply. Oh, thank you so much, Harshaji. What happens to soul when it's liberated from birth and death? We talked about that in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says that I will carry you to my spiritual world. Krishna told us about 5,000 years ago. Now this is a modern world. How much one can do? Actually, Atulji has this question that if Krishna's Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago, why should we read about Bhagavad Gita now? Or how much of this we can do? Actually, we need Bhagavad Gita now more than ever before because we are in more turmoil than ever before. Life is becoming very difficult nowadays. I don't think any other knowledge will bring you this equilibrium in your life other than the Bhakti Yoga of Bhagavad Gita. I have hard time in understanding any other knowledge other than Bhagavad Gita knowledge, because it is complete knowledge. There is no other knowledge which is as complete as this one. So this is the time we need it. Hari Kumar ji, if we see Paramatma in all living beings, then why do we get annoyed with others? Why do people try to harm others? Why are we becoming selfish and envious? So Hari Kumar ji, the question here is that we harm others, we become annoyed with others, we are envious to others just because we are not on the spiritual platform, just because we are not practicing what we have learned from Bhagavad Gita. And how can we practice it? Always remembering that we are part and parcel of Krishna. And how do we do that? Just chant the mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when you chant this mantra, actually it brings you to the platform that, oh, we are here for temporary, nothing is permanent. Darshana is saying we can relate all this to how we are living today. Every point which is mentioned gives us so much knowledge. Great session. Thank you, Darshana. Archana is saying you explain everything is so nicely. Thank you, Archana ji. Sonali has a question. When someone harms us, we have to retaliate? We don't have to retaliate. There are two ways to retaliation. One is like, say somebody is like Arjuna was being harmed by Kauravas. So then Krishna says, now you have to fight Arjuna. You can't be just like a compassionate, very mild person sitting there. Suppose somebody enters your house, breaks down your house, and starts hitting your children. Of course, you have to be violent at that time. However, in day-to-day life, those situations are very rare. You don't have to be violent in day. Exceptional circumstances, yes, you have to be violent, but not in regular life. No more anger in the daily life. Life becomes easy and more practical after understanding 20 items. Yes, thank you, Hemant. People are exploiting us. Sonali has a question. Absolutely. When it becomes situation, Lord Krishna explained to Arjuna in second chapter also that Arjuna, this is not the time to be non-violent when the army is standing in front of you. When people are invading your house and you say, I'm going to be nice, and then that will not work. It is your duty to protect your family because they are part of Krishna, right? And if somebody is harming your family, it is your duty to protect them. So our family can be our children, our country also is our family, our whole world is our family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So we have to protect everybody. Thank you, Swati ji. Veena ji, thank you so much for your comment. Meenakshi ji is highlighting the importance of Bhakti Yoga, and absolutely, Bhagavad Gita is the need of the time. Yes, Bhagavad Gita is the need of the time. Thank you. So now let's finish the remaining part of this chapter. So 13th chapter further, Lord Krishna is saying to Arjuna that soul or living entity is also called as Brahman. So Atma is also called Brahman. That is another name given in Sanskrit to Atma. And there is a Parabrahman. There is a Brahman and Parabrahma. Brahma and Parabrahma. Brahma is the Atma and Parabrahma is the Paramatma. And once we know about this relationship, then we become happy. This all knowledge is bringing not only happiness, it's bringing nectar in your life. Nectar means something which is eternal, Amruta. There is one thing which is very tasty, but something which is called nectarian. Nectarian means the taste remains with you forever. And the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is a nectar, which means it remains with you forever. You might get a happiness by, say, getting a movie, but that movie happiness lasts very short time. As long as you are in a movie, or as long as you're eating a pizza, you'll feel happy. After that, the happiness is gone. But the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is a nectar which relishes throughout the life in all the circumstances. The knowledge of soul, the knowledge of Atma, Paramatma, our relationship, how we should behave, what it brings overall attitude. So this gives you a nectar. When you look upon somebody, when you talk to somebody, your attitude or your approach to that person now is on the spiritual platform. Rather than looking upon somebody as a body, now you are looking that person as a soul and part of Krishna, part of Paramatma, Parabrahma. So it gives you a very broad picture. And you relish nectar, which you do not have any problems with anybody now. Because somebody might behave very abruptly, some wrong way, but we excuse them, unless and until it is a violent situation. Lord Krishna further says that this Paramatma, everywhere are his arms, hands, legs, his eyes, heads, faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists pervading everywhere. So Lord Krishna is saying that Paramatma or super soul is everywhere. Sometimes we do wrong activities and we think that who is watching me? So Krishna is saying that I am super soul, Paramatma, I am everywhere and I am watching you every single place. Right? So Krishna is existing everywhere and he watching us everywhere. It's like a security camera, like say wherever there are security cameras, people are more vigilant. If you go to a departmental store and you see cameras, why is that? Because somebody is monitoring, and then the thief are very careful. Similarly, there is a camera within our body, which is the Paramatma. He is watching us. He is monitoring us. He is seeing that how this person is sincere and how he is learning my knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. He will give you buddhi, dadami buddhi yogam tam. Then he will give you intelligence. Slowly. Then what Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita? That I am everywhere, super soul. Super soul is everywhere. Krishna is everywhere. So then Krishna is explaining to Arjuna further in 13th chapter that I am transcendental. And he says that the supreme truth exists outside and inside of all the living beings, moving and non-moving. Because he is subtle, he is beyond the power of material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. So, here, supreme truth is outside and inside. So, supreme truth means Paramatma. Paramatma is outside. The camera is outside and inside. Everywhere the camera is watching you. He is within the living and the non-living. He's everywhere, eternal, but we cannot see him because he is very subtle. Very subtle means very, very small, sukshma. And it's very difficult to see him. But he is able to see all of us. And that is what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, that I am everywhere. And he further says that I am undivided. Even though I exist in everywhere, and I'm entering into everybody's body, but my identity remains as it is, So even though Krishna enters as a Paramatma within you, Paramatma within me, and all the himself, his existence never gets demolished or destroyed, And then Lord Krishna further explains about his qualities, super soul, Paramatma qualities. So Lord Krishna says, I have hands, legs, eyes, ears, heads, faces everywhere. I am the source of all the senses, yet he is without senses. I am not attached, although he is the maintainer of all the living entities. The super soul is transcendental to the three modes of nature. So Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna, they can affect us, but they cannot affect Paramatma. Then super soul is reconciling his outside as well as inside. And I'm just summarizing the super soul quality, the Paramatma qualities. He is subtle and beyond the perception of material senses. He is undivided, although it appears to be divided. The Paramatma is within all of us, but then Paramatma exists himself as a Krishna also. And he is maintainer of all, devour and develops all. He is the source of all the knowledge and all the enlightenment, and he is situated in everybody's heart. So here, Lord Krishna is saying that I am there in everybody, And then further Krishna says, one who understands this philosophy concerning the material nature, the living entity, and interactions of mode of nature, he is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth again, regardless of his present position. So here Krishna declares that if you know this science of Bhagavad Gita and understands that we are all there is a field, there is a knower of the field, Kshetra, Kshetragna, there are two Kshetragnas, there is Atma, there is Paramatma, and the Paramatma is all pervading. And the knowledge which we acquire through the senses, knowledge acquiring senses, the body, our existence, is to acquire the knowledge which gives us the freedom from all this problems of birth, disease, old age, and death. And with this body only we can acquire the senses. Even we tell this Bhagavad Gita to a dog, the dog will not understand this because the dog does not have this facility of human body. Human body is a very special privilege. We can understand all this in such a depth and detail. So let's utilize this invaluable form of human life to understand what is this body, Like Lord Krishna at the end of 13th chapter, he says to Arjuna, those who see with the eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body, and can also understand the process of liberation from the bondage in this material nature, can attain the supreme goal. On your screen, you can see that this person is playing a computer game. Can you all see that? Yes. He's playing a game, and a lot of young kids we nowadays see, they're playing these video games. And the person is so much engrossed in this game, right? And he is with his ears, his eyes, his hands, he's engaged in this particular video game. And sometimes in this video game, he becomes excited. Sometimes he becomes depressed. But the person who is observing him from the distance, he says, why this person is becoming so much disturbed? It's just a game. It's not everything in the life. But that person who is engrossed in this game, he forgets about everything around him. Similarly, if we have this vision that this body, soul, knower, kshetra, kshetragna, our field of activities, what we are doing, what is the end result of all this? And what happens when we leave all this? When we have this broader picture, looking from outside, now when we are looking upon him, we are saying he should not be that much disturbed, because this is just a part of game. Why should be so much worried, So when you have this vision from looking upon the things from a distance, then your anxiety goes down, your pressure goes down, you do not get disturbed. Okay, I'm doing my job. If I'm not getting money, what can I do now? I'm trying to do, So some people become too much disturbed. And when there is a disturbance, there is difficulties for everybody. But when we have this knowledge, body, soul, we all are working very hard. We are doing our best. The times are not favorable for us, this situation around us. What can we do? Nothing is in our hand other than keep on working. And we are doing this as a service to Krishna. Having this broader vision of Bhagavad Gita will definitely bring us to an equilibrium platform. We will not hate anybody. We will not develop too much affection for everybody. We will love everybody in the mood that they are all part and parcel of Krishna. Upon our approach to look upon everybody will be equal. I will not say this, I will give special facility to this person because he is such a rich person, and somebody doesn't have money, I will treat him differently. I will treat everybody on an equal platform because everybody is part of Krishna. Whether it's husband or wife looks upon husband as a part of Krishna, and husband looks upon wife as a part of Krishna. Parents look upon children as part of Krishna, and children look upon parents as a part of Krishna. I look upon my neighbor as a part of Krishna, and everybody is part and parcel of Paramatma. And my goal is to serve Paramatma. So I can serve everybody, by thinking that they are part of Krishna. So that knowledge is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is something which is required at this time, because the more service is required at this time than any time before. And serving without prestige, ego, humility, humbleness, these are not just the words here in Bhagavad Gita. These are part of practice. So with that, I think we are coming close to the 2-hour session. We couldn't finish the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I wanted to finish the 14th chapter, but anyhow, we'll do it next time when we meet, and hopefully we can cover 3 chapters next time. I'm open for the questions. So we are 3 minutes before we finish our 2-hour session. Absolutely. You see godliness in everyone. How come some family members do not believe in being spiritual? Is it because of previous karmas? Meenakshi ji, everybody has their own time, and eventually people will come on the spiritual platform. But a grass, when it is green, it doesn't burn. The grass has to be dry to burn. So spirituality is not everybody's test. But one day, eventually, everybody will go to the spirituality. Query Anandji, Chetana or liveliness or positiveness inside oneself is called soul or super soul. Consciousness. Chetana is all about consciousness. Consciousness of souls, consciousness of super soul, consciousness of our nature around us, and how everything is owned by Krishna. Thank you, Dattatreya ji. Thank you, Atul ji. Thank you, Pallavi ji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Swati. Thank you, Helen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Swapnil. Thank you, Medha. Thank you, Harikumar. Parul. Thank you, ji. Thank you, Leena ji. Thank you, Bharati ji. Gary, thank you. Thank you, Hare Krishna Darshana. Thank you, Dr. Manjuri. Everybody is on the Facebook group. If you have any questions, if you have any videos, please post it. Veena ji is asking a perfect question, actually. Let me answer this question. There are so many venues to have spiritual knowledge. Veena ji, one thing I am telling you, that there are so many venues, but there is no venue like Bhagavad Gita. Believe me, I have gone through quite a few of them. So please do not get confused. Do not follow 10 things. Just follow Bhagavad Gita as it is. Read carefully, practice it. Your life will be sublime. I am guaranteeing you that this is what has happened with many people. So do not fall into trap of many so-called spiritual path. They are there, but there are very long ways to reach there. There is a shorter way, Bhagavad Gita. Thank you, Hemant. Thank you, Sonal. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vinaji. Hiral, does the mantra effect on water happen? Water happen even when we chant mantra in our mind? Oh yes, there is a water in our body, Hiralji. So when you chant mantra in your mind, the water inside your body changes. Yes. Avinash, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Avinashji. Harsha, thank you so much, Harshaji. Deepika ji, thank you so much. Raksha, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to see that all of you are getting benefit. And because of you, I'm also getting benefit of associating with wonderful people like all of you. Krishna has arranged this. If we do not chant mantra and only listen, will it have positive effect? Of course, that will have. Shravanam is the first thing. So as long as you hear, it will have positive effect in your life. Thank you, Rivaji. Thank you, Hiralji. Thank you, Dilipji. Gita is ultimate. No other knowledge can replace it. And absolutely. So just try to read every single day. Don't give up reading and ask questions. More you read and more ask questions, you will get more out of it. What about August session for Australia? Australia sessions, we are starting from 2nd of August, which is coming soon now. So I will be giving a second batch. If anybody wants to register for Australia sessions, will be 10:30 p.m. Canada time, 10:30 p.m. every Saturday Canada time, which will be 12 o'clock afternoon Australia time, and maybe 8 or 8:30 a.m. India time on Sunday morning. I will send you all the information by email. Our Australia devotees, a lot of students from Australia have registered actually. So we will start that from 2nd of August, entire Bhagavad Gita. Those who wants to join, they can join it again. Please recommend Avinashji to your friends. I will send you the link. What is the most powerful mantra? Stotra. Mahamantra is the best. Yes, share the details of Australia. Okay, give me 1 second. I am going to share you with the Australia course. Australia course is starting on 2nd of August, which is 12 p.m. 12:30 p.m. Australia time, which is 10, I think 10 or 10:30 p.m. India time. I will send you the link. Okay, this is the link for the Australia session. So that is the link for Australia session. Oh, no, not that one. Sorry, just ignore that link. That link will not work. So please ignore that link. And I'm going to send you another link. Anyway, let me open it. Hare Krishna, Sonali ji, thank you. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm going to share you the link for the Australia session. Here is the link. So this is the correct link. Correct link is here. Yeah, that's the correct link for the Australia session. So if you click this link, then you will be able to register for the Australia sessions there. Could you send me? Yeah, I'll post it on the WhatsApp group, Leena ji. I'll post it up. Thank you so much. Yes, I will do that today. Yeah, thank you. So we will continue our Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 next week, and hopefully we can finish that session. Thank you so much. If anybody has questions, comments, please post it in the WhatsApp group. or Facebook group. That will be great. I don't hear any comments from anybody during the week. So I hope everybody is reading Bhagavad Gita. And okay, I am going to send the recordings. I have posted all the recordings on YouTube. So I will share the YouTube link to you now. So let me share the YouTube link. Just give me 1 second. All the 7 session recordings are on the YouTube. So we have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to post the YouTube link here. And you can share the link with your friends and family if they have missed the session. Then YouTube link will be here. Just give me 1 second. We didn't do any quiz today because we're short of time actually. But maybe next week we'll do the quiz. I'm sending the recording. Just give me 1 second. Playlist. Oh, 1 second, 1 second. I'm just trying to find my recording link. Okay. I hope this link works for you. Here is the link for the YouTube. This is the YouTube link for all the videos which we have done, all the sessions we have done as of today. All the videos are on the YouTube. Oh, Meenakshi ji, I will send you the WhatsApp group link. 1 second. I'll send you the WhatsApp group link. WhatsApp link is here. I'm just finding the link. Just give me 1 second. Okay, where is the link? Facebook group link is, I'm posting the Facebook group link again. This is the Facebook group link. Yes, the link which I sent you was the link for all the YouTube sessions. And the Facebook group link is here. So this is the WhatsApp group link. I found it finally. So this is the WhatsApp chat invitation link. So click that link and join the chat group on the WhatsApp also. Thank you so much. I wish you all a very happy weekend. And stay safe. Prayers for everybody in India. Lots of cases in India. I'm worried about everybody there. So please stay safe and keep safe distance. Avoid going outside if you don't need to. Stay safe and keep washing your hands. Wear masks and avoid outside contacts as long as possible. This COVID is going to last longer actually. Until we have a vaccine, we have to change our lives. Our life, what we were living few months ago, will not be the same until we all get vaccinated. So just stay safe. Wherever you are, just be extra careful and take care of your family and friends. My prayers and best wishes to everybody of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you, Nishta. Thank you, Charuji. Thank you, Ananda Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Please stay safe. My prayers for everybody. Hari Kumarji, thank you so much. Hari Bol Madhufai. Thank you so much, Sureshji. Very difficult times for all of us, but I'm glad we are using this time for Bhagavad Gita. I think this is the opportunity. Otherwise, everybody is busy every day, traveling and running around. But this is a quiet time of spiritual development. So, thank you, Kajalji. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can post it on the Facebook or email me or send on my WhatsApp number. Also, you can send me any comments you have. I'll post my WhatsApp number also here in case you want to send me a message. That's my WhatsApp number. So if you want to send any message to me, this is the number. You can WhatsApp me. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Or just post it on the Facebook group. Thank you so much. With that, I'm ending the session here. Wish you all a very good evening in India, good day in Canada. We'll see you again. Thank you. Take care.